Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Live Ones. It is Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. You got an early show today because we got an early slate of baseball. But let's talk about what's going on in the world of sports. Round one of the NBA playoffs are in full swing. The Sixers absolutely stampeded the Raptors in Game 2 last night, which is to say Joel Embiid stampeded his way through the paint under the Raptors' net on his way to 14 free throws by himself, which was more than the Raptors' entire team got. Embiid and Raptors coach Nick Nurse had words for each other at the end of the game. Nurse is coaching pissed off. He's on tilt. It feels like all the fouls are going one way. Honestly, if you're going to triple team a 7'3" center who's intent on driving in the paint, that center's going to pick up a lot of contact and a lot of whistles. Just the nature of the game where you basically can't lay a pinky finger on someone in the process of shooting without getting a foul. Is it right? No, of course not. But that's the standard. That's the rules now. Steph Curry had another gem of a night, shooting 34 in just 23 minutes of play to lift the Warriors to a 2-0 lead over the Nuggets. To anyone wondering if Jokic should be the MVP this year, no. Man played most of his games against a pathetically weak Western Conference, and you could see what happens when he goes up against top competition. They just go off on him. You want to have the debate between Embiid and Giannis? Fine, that's a debate worth having. But not Jokic, man, not Jokic. In baseball, Jake Arrieta announced his retirement this morning on Barstool's Pardon My Take podcast. 36 years old. The man was a 2-year phenom, pitching absolute masterclasses in 2015 and 2016, and arguably more than anyone else is the reason the Cubs finally got over their hump and won their World Series. But that was it. He signed a free agent deal with the Phillies in 2017 when he was 31 years old, and the wheels fell off. He was just never the same pitcher. And then he just hung on. And hung on, and hung on. Not a Hall of Famer, not even a Hall of Very Good in my estimation. Very pedestrian stats when you look at his whole career. 115 and 93 record, 3.98 career ERA, 1.25 career WHIP. Just average over the course of his entire career. Just the right guy in the right place at the right time for that Cubs World Series run. More bad news for the Carolina Panthers, as if they don't have enough. Linebacker Damian Wilson was arrested in Frisco, Texas, after his ex-girlfriend said he threatened to kill her, and she has gone very public about it. Said that after she broke up with Wilson, he showed up drunk at her apartment, threatened to kill her with a tire iron, also wrapped up her laptop in a blanket during the argument, slammed it to the ground, and beat it with the tire iron, telling her it was her cat. The things you do when you're drunk. Wilson also tried running her over before driving off. She said, "I'm guessing that he was trying. I'm guessing there's more to that than meets the eye." Not the first time the former Dallas Cowboy has been in trouble. In 2017, he was accused of pulling out a rifle and threatening tailgaters outside of a soccer venue. He was arrested on 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Excuse me. Grand jury failed to indict him, however. I think this probably ends in a settlement. Frankly, the Panthers don't have the talent pool to justify cutting him, given the fact that no one was actually hurt, and that's usually how these things wind up going. More NBA playoff round 1 action to go over tonight. A full slate of baseball, including some doubleheaders. Let's get right to it. We'll start with the NBA. The Heat and the Hawks. The Heat dominated in the Game 1 opener on Sunday, coming away with a 115-91 win, setting the tone for the series that they're not going to be stopped as the tournament's 1 seed. On the season, not a surprise that the Heat dominated, really. They won 3 out of the 4 games, including both meetings at home against the Hawks in the regular season. Now they're welcoming Atlanta back for Game 2. Atlanta, as we know, has struggled all season on the road, going 17-26 away from home, and the Heat, they're just simply lights out at home. Doesn't help matters at all that the Hawks continue to battle some injuries. Clint Capella's out, Lou Williams is out. Bogdan Bogdanovic is probable, but even if he does go, he's likely to be somewhat limited. The Heat should win this one in a walk, probably by double digits. Heat minus 7 points at home is a gift from the handicapping gods. Just go ahead and take it. So then moving out west, the Suns and the Pelicans. It had been a while since Phoenix had played a meaningful game as the Suns cruised down the stretch of the regular season after clinching the number 1 seed with still like 3 weeks to go in the season. They did not have to shake off any rust, however, in the first half of Game 1. They got out to a 19-9 lead in the first quarter, never looked back. They really, really got out the gates early. The Pelicans, as nice as their turnaround story has been, just simply don't have the firepower to keep pace with the Suns. We talked all along about how that was, the game to be the sacrificial lamb to Phoenix in the first round, were those play-in games. I wouldn't be surprised if Phoenix actually shows up with even more intensity tonight than it did on Sunday. This is one of those teams that, like, they get a little antsy. They play a little pissed off sometimes when they make mistakes. And while they did control Sunday's game from start to finish, they were a little disappointed with their rebounding in the second half, or rather their lack of it, that let the Pelicans start to stage a comeback in the beginning of the fourth quarter before Chris Paul took the game over. Look for them to get out to a hot start again. Look for them to play pissed off. I'm taking the Suns on the first half, -5.5 points. All right, let's talk some baseball, and we got a couple of doubleheaders. That the game ones are very interesting to me, and the first is the Mets and the Giants. Tyler McGill is doing his best Jacob deGrom impression after being tasked with filling his slot on the roster. He shut out the opposition over 10 1/3 innings at his first two starts. Gets the nod today in the first game of another doubleheader. His fastball is, it's up in velocity from last year, but his slider punch-out is just a real thing of beauty in terms of its lateral movement. If you get a chance to go watch it on like Codify or Pitching Ninja, one of those sites where they just break down the movement of pitchers' individual pitches. But the hitters who face the slider on 0-2 counts are 0 for 8 against it so far. He's got him. Countering San Francisco is Alex Cobb, who has, last year he had one of the worst home-away splits of any pitcher not on the Chicago White Sox. 5.44 ERA on the road. Batting average was almost a full 100 points higher. Cobb's also got a bad history with a lot of the Mets sluggers. Robinson Cano, Eduardo Escobar, and Francisco Lindor have all crushed him in the past. All the ingredients are here for a solid Mets win in the opener, and you're getting a great home favorite price for them at -115. Jump all over it. Mets on the money line. All right, so then moving on to the Diamondbacks and the Nationals, game one of this doubleheader. The Arizona Diamondbacks, it looks like it's going to be another long season for them, especially if they don't get their offense going. They're just sitting at 3-6 right now, and a big reason why is the 29th ranked offense in Major League Baseball, putting up just 2.3 runs a game. This team has scored more than 3 runs only once in the last 8 games and has been shut out twice in that span. And they're getting shut out by the likes of Merrill Kelly and Humberto Castellanos, not exactly household names. On the other side of the ball, the Diamondbacks are putting up Madison Bumgarner, who's actually looked very decent in his first 2 limited starts as they ease him back from injury, sporting a 2.25 ERA, giving up a few too many walks for my liking, but managing to get himself out of trouble almost every time. He's going up against a lineup of Juan Soto and no one else, so they should theoretically be able to stretch him to 5 innings. With it being a doubleheader and everyone probably conserving their energy, I just smell a low-scoring game here in Game 1. Give me the under 8 runs for the total. I think these are 2 bad offenses and a good starter in Bumgarner who should combine to keep things low. And finally, last but not least, the Phillies and the Rockies. This vaunted Phillies offense that had all the hype in the world coming into the season had the absolute best possible smash spot laid out for them last night. Chad Cole on the mound, Coors Field, and they took a giant steaming dump all over the home plate there. They managed to paltry 2 hits off of Chad Cole in 6 innings, only made him work to the tune of 68 pitches. He actually came out for the 7th inning, but I guess the manager smelled something. I guess just sensed something that he was going to be all right, that the bullpen was going to be all right because they pulled him during warmups. He didn't even get to face a single batter. It was incredibly underwhelming, much like the Phillies' offense has been for the first 2 weeks of the season. Now they get Kyle Freeland on the mound, who got rocked in both of his starts so far by the Dodgers and the Cubs, to the tune of 10 runs and a combined 9 innings of work. The Phils have done dramatically better against left-handed pitching than right-handing. Guess what? They're still not going to hit him. Not with the way they've been failing to see balls out of pitchers' hands right now. With the exception of that one game against the Marlins, the Phillies haven't been able to rough up a starter since opening day. And I don't see how they're all going to magically turn it around at the same time. Give me the Phillies team total under 6.5 runs today. We're just going to ride this until they give us a reason not to. That is my 5th and final play for the day. Everyone bet safe, stay safe. Follow us on Twitter at LiveOneSports. Check us out on Roku and Fire TV at the Live Ones. Have yourselves a great Tuesday, and I will see you next time.